Hi everybody, welcome to our new Positive 2017 webinar. My name is John Hickey. I am the president and head programmer here at Positive Software Company. Again, Positive 2017 is kind of the new umbrella name of our products. We are going with Positive for Retail and Positive for Business, and I'll show you how those relate to what you have already. All right, so here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the new products, do a short feature overview. We're going to talk about the new Gold subscription and what's included in that, and then we're going to focus on SMS text messaging. All right, so new Positive products. The following products are going to be retired. That doesn't mean that we're not going to be supporting them. It's just that they're kind of, we're not selling them anymore. These are Positive Retail Manager SE, which is the lighter version of Positive Retail Manager, and Positive for Business. Essentially, we've rebranded them and refocused them a little bit. So the current projects are going to be Positive for Retail and Positive for Business. So how do those relate to what you have now? Positive SE becomes Positive for Retail, which the main focus is on retail, checking, doing quick sales and touchscreen and all that kind of thing. Positive Retail Manager and Positive Business Manager merge into Positive for Business. So Positive for Business is now kind of what Positive Business Manager was. It's got a lot more features in it than Positive Retail Manager did, and it's just kind of our everything is here product. So if you're upgrading and if you sign up for the Gold subscription, you get free upgrades. Then if you have Positive Retail Manager SE, you'll upgrade to Positive for Retail. And if you have either of the other two products, you'll upgrade to Positive for Business. All right, so what's in the new Positive? One thing is that we've increased our minimum screen resolution. So currently, I think it's 1024 by 768. We've widened a lot of the screens, and if you run them on 1024 by 768, you're probably not going to be very happy. So we recommend a minimum of 1366 by 768, but we really recommend a 1920 by 1080. That's the screen we're looking at right now. That's the screen size that we're working with. So this is we highly, highly, highly recommend the 1920 by 1080 at minimum 1366 by 768. It also works okay in 1280 by 1024 if you have some of those older square monitors laying about. Okay, so that's kind of hardware requirement-wise what we need, but what's in the new Positive? We've got smart grids throughout the program, and you might have seen these starting to pop up a little bit in the older versions, but now they're everywhere. And I'm going to give you a demonstration of some of these features in just a moment, what smart grids are and how they're very helpful. We've improved user-defined fields. They now extend to vendors. So customers, vendors, and inventory now has user-defined fields, and we'll probably be extending those out even further in the future so that you can have user-defined fields on invoices and purchase orders and things like that. We've streamlined the invoice screen, and we have better line note handling. I'll show that too. We've improved the user interface throughout the program. This is one reason we need the extra screen real estate. Emails, we've improved the way that our email works. It now works with SSL. And then there's, of course, numerous bug fixes and enhancements. So what I'm going to do now, I think, is go ahead and go to Positive. Okay, so let's first talk a little about smart grids. So let's look at customers. And here on the right is what we call smart grids. So smart grids allow you to see consistent information on different screens throughout the entire program. So in this case, we're looking at the customer list, and all of these things are available to us on the right-hand side. Now, if I go to do an invoice, we're going to see that same information. We're using the same grids throughout the program. And you can even update a lot of these things right from the grid. So here's SMS texting right here. If I wanted to have this person allow texting, I would check this on, and I can just do it right here instead of going to the edit screen. I'm going to turn that back off. We also have, I've redone the edit screen for customers too. take a look at this one. And the same thing, we have the properties on the right hand side here. So these are your smart grids, and they show up all over the place. They show up in purchase orders, so you can see inventory, stock, while you're in purchasing. Much easier now than having to kind of bounce back and forth between the inventory screen and the purchase order screen. They're in the invoicing screen. They're just all over the place. I was going to go ahead and do an invoice because that kind of leads us into some of the invoice screen improvements. So we'll close this off and do a customer sale. Yes, we do. Okay, so here's our customer screen. The customer screen has been kind of cleaned up, I think, a little bit. So it looks much cleaner, and there's been some changes in where things are. Most notably, notes. I'll show you notes in just a second. But again, here's our grids on the side here. So you can see kind of what's going on with that customer. If I go ahead and add an item of air curtain, if you click on stock, we can see all the information about stock for that item. So this is, again, kind of a demo of the smart grids. And now I want to kind of show you what we've done with notes. Notes have been sometimes problematic in the invoice screen. You can end up with really long notes, and they take up a whole lot of space, and they're very difficult to move around. And sometimes it's hard to see a nice overview of your invoice because of all kind of the notes get in the way. They'll take up a lot of space. Made a couple of improvements to that. I'm going to go ahead and do Control-N to put a note in here. So this is our notes now. You get a pop-up screen for your notes. You can have predefined notes. So if there's a lot of things that you type in a lot, you can keep those kind of off to the side here and predefine them. I've predefined a note here for limited warranty. Down below here it shows you what that note says. I'm going to add that in over here on the left, and I hit OK, and then it brings the note in. Now I see it did not bring all the lines in that you're used to. It just brought in one line. And when you click on it, it shows you the whole note down here at the bottom now. So that's kind of kind of a big change in invoicing, but I think people who've been using it, we've had testers using this, they really like it because it just keeps everything very neat. And if I want to move that note, use the Control up or down key to move it. The note just moves. It's not all those extra note lines kind of left behind. Okay, so that's notes. Let me go back to my slide and see what, remind myself what we were going to talk about next. So my invoice, procedures interface, talk about that. Talk about email servers. I can show you that just a little bit because our email is a little bit different now as far as how it's set up. So I should be able to do that. So if we just look at employees, let's go to the employee list. Okay, here's a manager here. So email settings are now up here, up at the top here. So in this case, we've made everything very consistent as far as how you add email in. So I would click up here to add this person's email in here, and now you've got a nice screen where you can test the connection, your email connection, and it uses, like I said before, SSL and things like this. So if you're using the internal email and you move up to the new positive, you probably have to go through and redo your settings to make sure everything works correctly, and if you want to turn on the SSL encryption. The other thing about email that we've improved is prior to this, when you send out emails, it would come from the salesperson who was logged in. We now have it so you can assign email addresses to your company. So if I go here to email, here's company email. Here's the company email. So I can have several different company emails if I want. I could have one for sales, I could have one for support, and then you can send out emails under those those blanket email addresses. All right, so the next thing we want to talk about is the gold subscription. So what is our gold subscription? In the past, we've had a support subscriptions where if you needed support, you know, it was so much a month or so much a year, and we would help you with questions or whatever. The gold subscription is that plus a whole lot more. We've tied it into the program so that when you subscribe to gold, you get a whole lot of new features that are only available with an active subscription. So these features go above and beyond what you might normally find, and they bring a lot of extra value to the program. If you don't subscribe, so if you subscribe to the Gold subscription and you're a month to month and you decide that you don't want it anymore, then the features just aren't available. So let's see what features are in Gold. So here's all the different things that are in the Gold subscription. Dashboards, and I'll be showing a lot of these kind of briefly, and then we'll go right into the text marketing. Anyway, dashboards, Positive Anywhere. Positive Anywhere, in the past we had a product called Positive Connect that's been retired. It was a web server that ran in your on-site at your store or place of business, and then you could use any browser and check up and see what your sales were for the day, or look up a customer name or orders or things like that. Positive Anywhere is kind of the next generation of that. It's really geared to work on mobile phones, so we've redesigned all the screens for it so everything fits nicely on a mobile phone. Same type of thing, you can check on sales and look up customers and orders and invoices and all those sorts of things right from your phone. So that's available in Gold. We also have the text marketing, which we're going to be talking about in just a few minutes. And part of the text marketing, we have two subscriptions, I guess. Gold, that's what I'm going through on the left here, and then the Gold Plus. There's a difference in how many free messages you get. We do include 250 free text messages per month in the regular Gold subscription. That's bumped up to 500 in the Gold Plus. We have definable system alerts. Now, some of this is still under construction. The definable system alerts is still under construction, but we'll probably end up doing webinars on each of these features in the coming months. But the idea behind definable system alerts is if you want to be alerted as an owner, or even have your salespeople alerted or something, if something happens in the system, then it can text you or email you and let you know that something's happened, or even pop up on your desktop screen that something's happened. An example might be if there was a large void or large return, you might want to know about that. You might want to have it text you what your sales are every couple hours. So things like that are what definable system alerts are. Scheduling and reminders, we have a whole new scheduling and reminder system for setting appointments. We have iBackup setup and monitoring is included. So you would, this is we get you set up, you really need to have backups of your data, and the monitoring makes sure that those backups are happening. Program updates are included, so the only way actually to get program updates now is on the Gold subscription. We have limited support on the Gold subscription, which is essentially 2 phone calls a month, and it's limited to positive software questions only. So if you have an issue with something that's outside of positive, we can't really help you with that. Just with the software alone. And then training classes are included. For the Plus subscription, you get everything that's in Gold. Plus will install updates for you upon request. You have unlimited support calls, and we'll also go beyond the software if need be and help you with the networking, SQL replication, things related to the software. We can't be your IT person, but if it's related to positive software and how it's working, we can help you with all these other things as well. And then 500 text messages a month. So we'll cover the pricing on this at the end of the presentation. All right, so here we are up to the text messaging part, and this is what we're really excited about. I wanted to kind of really show this off. The idea behind text messaging is that it's quick, it's inexpensive, it's an easy way to interact with your customers. You can use keywords to respond to your customers' questions. So your customers, for example, could type the word hours to your phone number, and it would come back and with a predefined message that you've set up that says, we're open from these hours. Come on by. Or they could check an order status. If you're doing service work using our service module, those have statuses on them, and the customer could text to your text number. There's like a keyword, however you want to set it up, the order and the order number, and it will come back and tell them what the status of their order is. We've also have ties into their account so they can see how much they owe, things like that. So it's kind of interactive with text messaging. They can text you directly for quick responses. So we have alerts set up with the texting, and we'll show that in a little bit, where if your customer has a question, they can text your store through this number, you'll get an alert on your desktop that that's happened, and then you'll be able to respond back to the customer and give them an answer to whatever their question might be. So the whole text messaging thing, it just gives you a lot better contact with your customers. Another thing that you might have experienced as well is you might have gone to a restaurant and they say, hey, give us your text number and you get a free dessert or something like that. And then they will text you with specials that they're having that night. And that's pretty effective for the restaurants. But it's also effective for retail stores because I've researched this quite a bit, and there's plenty of stories out there where people have had they're in the store, it's kind of a slow Saturday, not much going on, but they have a large text list of their customers, and so they will send out kind of a flash sale, for the next 2 hours, get 10% off certain items or 10% off your entire invoice or whatever you might want to do, and their stores will fill up. And that's kind of an amazing thing to see. You send out a message and it's like instant advertising, and it comes right back, and it's just very inexpensive, and it works. So let's tell you how you get started with this. So to get started with the text messaging and all the other nice things that are in the Gold Plus, you contact us and you sign up for a Gold subscription. Now at that point, you'll be able to choose a 10-digit SMS text phone number at that time. So there's plenty of phone numbers available, and we embed that in your maintenance key. As far as phone numbers go, just you can match it up to the area that you're in. You can have the same area code, that kind of thing, and we might give you a few choices as far as something that might be a little memorable or whatever. But the text phone number is the thing that you'll give out to your customers. So we take that phone number, it's embedded in your maintenance key, and then you basically run positive and enter in your maintenance key, and then you're ready to go. So the maintenance key is kind of the key to a lot of things now in positive as far as what things are unlocked. The maintenance key will unlock your Gold subscription, and it will have this phone number embedded, so it makes setup for you very easy. In fact, once you get the phone number, you're ready to start doing things. Okay, so the next step, once you've got your maintenance key, is to configure Positive Anywhere, the Positive Anywhere web server. So what's a Positive Anywhere web server? Well, that's a separate program from Positive that you need to run somewhere on site in your store or business site. What this does is allow you to talk to the outside world. It's kind of the hub of all the activity that happens with Positive, with text messaging, all that kind of thing. All the text messages come into the web server, then it goes out to Positive. Everything that happens with the Positive Anywhere on your mobile phone, it's going through this web server. So there's a lot of things that kind of happen with this web server. It needs to be set up, and it needs to be kind of running kind of off on its own. It doesn't have to be running on a workstation necessarily. It could be running on the SQL server, but on the other hand, it could run anywhere, but it should be running on a computer that's on all the time. So again, we've made this so it's kind of easy. Well, so it's really easy actually to set up. I'm going to show you that in just one second, but just to give you an idea, what we've done is that in the past with Positive Connect, we could set that up, but there's certain things that were really required, and we had to go into your router and do what's called port forwarding. We had to set up either with a dynamic DNS service, or you had to get a static IP address. I mean, this already sounds too complicated for me, but that's all the stuff we had to do, and it would take probably a half hour, 45 minutes, and a lot of back and forth. It would take a while. We've streamlined this whole thing now, so we use web tunnels that are all set up through Positive. So to set it up now, all you do is run Positive Anywhere. I'm going to bring Positive Anywhere over. So you can see it's running here on my computer just locally here. And that's what I'm using for testing, and this is what we're going to be using to demo right now. But if you take a look here at the Positive Anywhere server, when you run it, it's going to pop up with this setup. Okay? So when it comes up with this setup, you're going to pick your company, and I have a bunch of companies because we do a lot of testing, but you'll probably just have one company here. So you pick your company, your port is set, you can change this if you want, and the only other thing you need to enter is your subdomain. So what your subdomain is when I'm on my phone, what do I type in so I can see and connect up with Positive Anywhere? And in this case, I'm using PDA because our company is PDA Stockpile. I don't know why we're still selling PDAs, such things even exist, but anyway, that's what we do. So ours is pda.positiveanywhere.com. You can type in anything here. You can type in your company initials. You can type in your company name. Whatever you want. It's a web address, so whatever you go type in there, that's what it's going to use. Now, it does do a check to see if that's already being used by somebody, so you can't accidentally use somebody else's name. And once you type select, I'm not going to do that because we're already set up, but once you type select, it does a check, and then it configures everything for you. It configures the text messaging, so everything gets forwarded to it. It configures your website, and you're ready to go. So that's all you have to do to set up Positive Anywhere. Very easy. And then it runs. We probably recommend that you run it as a service, and we'll probably go over this Positive Anywhere a little bit more, or you might have support help you with this part of it if you decide to run it as a service. But running as a service just means that if your computer shuts down for any reason or doesn't update, that it will launch again, like without having to do it by hand. So that's it. That's what happens. So this guy just kind of sets aside, and here you can see it's showing my phone number here. This is my test phone number, and there's my web address. Okay. So in fact, I think if you were to type in pda.positiveanywhere.com on your web browser, you would get a login screen. And that would be coming from right here. All right, so let's move that off to the side. So that's all you have to do to set up Positive Anywhere. Excuse me, very easy. And then you're ready to go. Everything is ready. There was a quick question here, will the text service work in Australia? I believe so. I would have to double check on that, but I think it works in most countries. All right, so once you've got this going, then you need to configure your SMS manager. You need to enter some default settings and enter some keywords. So I'm going to show you how to do that now, because you're kind of getting to the exciting part. So under maintenance and definitions list, go down to the SMS manager. And I've already pre-configured quite a few things here. We'll kind of go through it how you might see it. This would be blank for you. And here's some settings here. So first I would go to settings. Now the first thing is, okay, when I'm receiving a text, who do I want to get an alert? And I've chosen the manager. That's just choosing one of the employees that's going to get an alert. And what we mean by alert is that at this point, they will get one of those little pop-up alerts in the corner as they're working. It'll pop up and say, hey, you've got some text came in, so then they can respond to it. In the future, you'll also be able to set this up so you can get a text alert, and using Positive Anywhere on your mobile phone, you could respond to those texts right through your phone. So this is a footer that you would add. Let me just tell you a couple rules as far as the texting goes. People need to subscribe in order to get messages back. So start is the keyword. If they text start to your phone number, then that signs them up and they can receive messages from you. If they text stop, then it stops. So those things are kind of fixed as far as the things that they can send to get going. As far as footers go, help is also, our text messaging service has that keyword of help, and they'll send you help, and the help will come back and say stop and start, because that's all the help that's provided. You might want to have more help come out to people, and I'll show you how the help works. It's really kind of neat. But on our footer, I would just put the company name so they always know where it came from, and also we're using a question mark. That's kind of easy. People just put in the question mark, text it to you, and then they'll get help back. So to me, that's just really simple. So that's what I have for our footer. And then this generic response, that's for when your customer texts you with a question, they'll get a response back right away that says, hey, we've got your your text here, and we'll get right back to you. So I could probably say something like that too. Okay, so that's kind of the basic setup of your texting. Now, as far as responses go, it's kind of a keyword. You know, you're going to set up a keyword, and then you're going to have it do something based on that keyword. So let's look at start. Okay, so when they text start, you'll get the text messaging service gives back a response, but you can also give back a response. So this screen looks a little, there's a lot going on, I guess, but it's fairly simple. So we'll kind of break it down. So first, here is your keyword, and it's start. There's an action that can be taken once that keyword comes in, and there's only 4 actions. There's none, which means nothing's going to happen. There's opt-in, which means they've opted in. There's an opt-out. Of course, once they opt out, they don't really get a message back. And then there's help. And so we'll cover all of these things in just a second here. But this is an opt-in. So one of the reasons we have an opt-in is that when you're, one way to attract people, I guess, is the example we used earlier. You're a restaurant, and you say, hey, get a free dessert. And if you sign up for text messaging. And so usually you do it right when you're at the restaurant. Another way to entice people to give you their cell phone number is to give them a coupon. So we've modified the coupon manager so you can now give out one-time, single-use coupons. And in this case, we're offering, if you give us your cell phone number, you'll get 10% off your next purchase. And so what's going to happen is that when I join, when I start, I'll get this message in thanking me, and then I'll get this 10% off coupon. Will also come here. So I'm going to show you how to add a coupon in, which we're not going to do from here. We're going to do from over here. It's a coupon manager. Okay, so let's create a new coupon. I've been kind of testing with this, and one of the things that happens with these single-use coupons is that if I've issued it once, it will not send it again. It won't send you a new single-use coupon. And so I think I might have used these in the past, so I want to make sure I've got a brand new coupon here. So I'm going to add one, and this will also kind of show you how to use, oh my gosh, it's 11:30. Okay, I'll try to speed up a little bit. Anyway, we're going to put in a brand new SKU here. This will be a welcome. 10%, 10 off coupon. Okay, this will be % off, 10%. It's going to be off the entire invoice. Here's the new stuff here, single-use coupon, and allow auto-generation. Now I'm going to have 3 characters as a prefix, and I'll just make it a WL. This helps me track things. We have a brand new management system for marketing, and you're going to be able to track when these coupons are used. So when you put like a little marketing campaign together, you can say, hey, I put this out and I got a really good response, or I put this out and I didn't get a very good response at all, and then you can adjust your campaigns to that. So we'll make this 8 length seems pretty good. Up to 3 characters long, single use. So this is going to generate single use coupons. Oops, so I always have to just put something here. I'm just going to pick anything. You would probably put a little better department category in there. Okay, so here you go. So this is our welcome 10% off coupon. This is also a new thing here too. You can see on one of these, I think. Yeah, I've auto-generated some already. And this particular coupon hasn't been redeemed. So you can see when they use your coupons, you can see, okay, what's my redemption percentage on these things. Okay, so this is the guy we're going to use, and I'm going to replace that with our welcome 10 off. Okay, let's jump back up to here. So when customers text start, they're going to get this message: welcome to PDA Stockpile, text us with any questions, and we'll answer as soon as possible. Now on the right here is a preview. Your character count can't go over 160. So what we do is, as you're typing, you can see the character count is increasing. When you get over 160, it turns red, and so you know that you've typed in too many things. One of the things you could do is you could exclude the footer, and now I've got a whole bunch more space to type if you had a long message. We're going to leave the footer in. I'll just kind of get rid of all this stuff because we don't need it. Okay, so this makes sure that you keep your character counts where it needs to be. So this is going to be actually two messages that are sent. One is the response, and the other is the coupon that's going to go out. And then the final thing here is your how are you going to start? What your help response is. And the help response is when you type that question mark, what is this going to send back? So we'll kind of go through this a little quicker because you kind of want to see what it does, I guess. But that's basically it. I mean, if you look at some of these things, here's hours. This is what happens when hours go through. I text in hours. It comes back with this response. Okay. And the final thing here, I guess, is help. And when I type in the question mark, that's a help action. And then what that does is just go through all the little helps that are in all these things here and those help texts and send you back that help. So that's what happens there. Okay, so I know that's a lot, but this really isn't too difficult to set up these types of things. The simplest things are just kind of maybe, these are our hours, and then you can get into some of the more technical things later. And that's your setup. So now let's do some texting. Let's go back to our slideshow. Okay, so there's all sorts of ways you can send text messages individually through the customer manager. So if you just need to send somebody a text, you know, their service work is done or something like that, you've already got a relationship with them, you can do that through the customer manager. You can do it through the event management, and you can do it through the marketing manager. So we're going to look at all those ways very quickly. And the way we're going to do this is, whoops, we're going to use this. This is kind of like my test number here. This is Google Voice, and I can send text with this. So the first thing I'm going to do is send start. So start, just going to come over here and process it out, and then we should have a message in our inbox. And here it is. So this part here, kind of ignore all these other things. Well, here we go. Yeah, you've been resubscribed, so we just resubscribed here. This is the message that we had lined out there before, so it sent that. And then this is our 10% one-use coupon. So there's WEL, and then it added some extra random characters on the end of it. So that's your coupon. So these are all the messages I got back when I texted the word start. If I want to text the word hours, then it's going to come back and tell me what our hours are. There we go. We are open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturday, 10 to 5. So that's kind of how it works. That's the experience, I guess, on your customer's end. They will text something, and they will get responses back based on what you've assigned there. Now, another thing that this does, let's take a look here, back at Positive and customers. So that happened to be my number, or my test number. And if I look over here now, my allow SMS texting has been turned on. Now, if I was to stop this, let's go ahead and text stop. Okay, so now I've stopped texting. Now this is automatically going to be turned off. So that's all handled through the Positive Web Server. So it takes care of all this, you know, it's signing people up, not signing them up. That's all handled, and it's all kind of molding together. So, and that told me that I've been unsubscribed, so I'm going to subscribe again because we actually do want to get things. And we'll get a message back on that. And then my it's unsubscribed still. Takes a while to bounce around sometimes. Move it over. But now I'm resubscribed again. Okay, so we're going to get some messages and stuff. Now, I'm going to send a message from this customer because we have some questions. Do you have So a customer's asking me a question. They say, do you have Conduit in stock? So I'm going to send that message. So that message is going to go around to the positive thing, and I'm going to be alerted that we've got a message here. Or should be alerted. And that comes in through here. There it is. Okay, so at the bottom you can see that just popped up, and it says it just received a text from me, and it says, do you have Conduit in stock? And it also shows up in my alerts here. So this is the new alert center. We kind of we talked about this just briefly, but anyway, here it is. So now I need to respond to this person. So we've got a little response button here. And what this does is it shows me, it's just kind of like texting on your phone. It shows me kind of all the different things that have been going on. And this is the last question here. Do you have Conduit in stock? And my answer is yes. Yes, we do. So I'm going to send that out to the customer. And so now if we go back to the customer, there's our response. Yes, we do. So again, we've got that two-way interaction with your customer. You can go back and forth. It keeps track of all the messages that are going back and forth between you and your customer. And that's a really good way to keep in touch with your customer. So the final way, let's see, we can close this off here. I could also text them from here. So if I just needed to send them a text and said, oh, I should have told them about something else, same thing is here, but not too much. We don't have much of that Conduit stock. So you can text them from here. You can text them other places. And the final usage of text messaging, of course, is marketing. So let's run through the marketing. And that's our brand new marketing manager. So this has really been beefed up. You have campaigns you create and events that happen in those campaigns. So you could, if you wanted to get really fancy with this, you could have a campaign running over an entire month with texts going out, at certain times during the month. Right now you have to manually process your texts, but we will have it so that you can schedule them and they'll be sent out at scheduled times. That's not there yet, but let's go ahead and just enter a campaign. So let's say that this is a slow Saturday and we just want to send something out. Now you can put in a description so that later when you're analyzing this, you kind of know what you were doing. We're going to kind of skip those parts. We're going to add an event, and this will be another 10% off things. This email is still supported, but we're going to do a text, and we're going to execute it manually. And so here we go. So this is our text again. I'm going to create a list to send to, and I only have one person so far signed up for text messaging. Here's where you put your text in, and I'm going to say, hey. Doesn't save anything on anything in the store. Use coupon, and then we have, you do just a little hash, coupon, and hash. So this will put your coupon code in there. So we need to pick a coupon. We're going to have to add a new one because I won't get this one again. So this will be slow 10. 10% off things. Set this up very quickly. 10% single use. SLO. And 8 characters. Make that caps just in case. Okay. So they were all set, right? Boom, boom, boom. I got to assign a department category to it. Okay, hope not moving too fast. But here's our new 10% off things coupon that we're going to use on a slow Saturday. So if you had a lot of customers sign up for this, of course you could get a list that's 200, 300. It depends on how many customers you've got signed up. But you can generate it just in seconds and say, okay, I'm going to market and see if I can't get people into my store. So we're going to use 10% off things here. This is slow 10. That looks good. And okay. So we're ready to go. I've just created a text message. I generated a list of people I'm going to send it to. It took me just a few seconds to make this campaign, and now I'm going to process it. So is that what you want to do? Yes, it is. Okay, so off it goes. So now that campaign is completed, and this is my slow Saturday campaign. This coupon hasn't been used yet, and here's the customer, and here's the 10% off. that they're getting now, anything in the store, and there's the coupon that was generated. So that, in a nutshell, I guess, is kind of how all this works. So from here, the customer comes in, shows you the coupon, and then they could use this coupon here, and they would get the 10% off, and it would be marked as used. And there's still a little bit of reports we need to do to help you so you can do the reporting, but that's coming right along. So there you go. So that's in essence how all this text messaging stuff works. Okay, well this is we kind of touched on this, but this is what you kind of want to do to get your customers on board, because you need to collect cell phone numbers now. So a couple ideas here. Add a message to your receipt, such as sign up to receive special savings, text START to your phone number and get 10% off. And we've showed you how to set up those 10% off coupons. You can put up signage around your store, and people could come into your store, sign up right there, and they will get the coupon immediately, and they could use it right away. So you get them to join there, put it up at your register, put it up in different places at your site. Add it to your website. Any print advertising that you might be doing. You want to collect as many phone numbers as possible, so this can be very effective for you. So this is what's included with your subscription for text marketing. You get your own phone number, 250 free messages per month, or 500 if you're on Gold Plus. And I didn't show it to you, but we do have a button that you can click on to see what your usage is. And one of the things that's coming sooner than later is before you send out text messages, it'll prompt and it'll tell you how many you've sent out and how much it costs per message. It's 3 cents per message if you go over 250 and over 500. And optionally, you can retrieve the first and last name of incoming callers. That's 2 cents per message. That's really nice if you want to build a customer list with names in it. This is just an option, though. You don't have to use that, but it seems to work pretty well. It's not, unfortunately, guaranteed to work with every phone number because not every phone number passes that information along. In my testing, though, it's worked pretty well. So that's something you could go for or not go for. If you want to have customers coming in with names, though, that's not a bad thing to do.
Thank you, John, for that presentation. Positive offers 2 different subscription packages. Gold subscriptions start at $59 a month or $590 a year. That's a $118 savings if you pay annually. Plus, you'll also receive 250 text messages a month. Gold Plus subscriptions start at $99 a month or $990 a year. That's a $198 savings if you pay annually. And a Gold Plus subscription includes 500 text messages a month. Thank you for watching. If you'd like more information about our Positive 2017 products, please give us a call at 800-735-6860 or email us at sales@gopositive.com or text us at 509-316-0102.